Okay, progress. Yeah, it's just shy of 5 a.m. I got it's all hemmed up. I got a little bit of quilting diagram going on. You probably can't see it in there, but I got all the corners restitched so they're laid down. I went around the whole outside of the patchwork. I went around the inner cubes of it, and then I did one down the middle, pulled all the pins out, and now we're getting busy to taking a break. Because I did not put on the on video the quilting yoga, because yeah, we ended up on the floor with this one after I finished that one video that I just uploaded. Yeah, this little story is kind of weird, and I don't want to put the and I can't find the picture either. I don't know what I did with it, but during one of the discards, and I had the like trauma bond withdrawal. Like, I thought I was gonna die. My body ached all over. It was the most excruciating pain I've ever dealt with in my life, right? And a woman's intuition, when they're like connected to somebody in that regard, like their souls are tied. Like, I do believe that this douchebag and I had a soul tie, and I don't invest a whole lot of stock in all of that, weird stuff. But there was something about that relationship. Was either I needed to get fed karma, or this guy. Yeah, I probably needed to get fed karma, but this guy also needed to be fed karma. And me going into that picture and fighting back, hence him losing the custody of his son, which he should have never fucking had. Make that clear. He should have never won custody. That's how, it's like I fell into the thick of a situation that a lot of people deal with. They lose custody to the narcissist because the narcissist, charms the judge. They charm the attorney, and the attorney is, just as narcissistic as them, right? Twisted, but here I am, fall into this crazy, dynamic of cuckookery with this entire family is twisted. Now, there was a point, I think, where this man's father and stepmom had started to see through him, and they just kind of, they entertained his, mean mouthing and talking bad about her and all this other stuff in front of the kid. The kid would be, hanging out. So, like, when I was with him and we went over to visit to go pick up the kid who had stayed there the whole weekend, kind of thing, it was really weird, because I think they started to see it because the kid didn't give his father any kind of attention at all. He wasn't excited to see him. He acted all weird and goofy. But then when he got around me, the kid acted like normal. And it wasn't like I forced the kid to be normal. The kid was comfortable around me, so he didn't feel like he needed to be like weird and acting crazy, right? And it was the intimidation that this kid was placed under affected the way he behaved. And I think they started to see it after X number of times that we would go over there, and bless them, because that was, I spoke about this and I probably locked it down, but it was after that when I finally escaped, after I had I'd escaped. just apparently, douchebag's dad had the kid, and they were in the grocery store, and the dad let the kid escape, contrary to the court order. I was down, an aisle, and I heard this, hey, hey, and I'm like, what? And I'm looking around, and I look up, and I see him, and I was like, oh. And he was like, acting all goofy and whatever. But it was like, and then when I go do this, the checkout, grandfather and kid, go through the checkout, and the grandfather's got this look on his face. He's not saying anything to me, but he's got this look on his face like, yeah, it was me. So I had misinterpreted it. I had said something to baby mama saying, yeah, he had this cynical fucking look on his face. And then I thought about it later, is where he wanted to smile, right? Because he knew what, so now this, now after, the douchebag ended up hooking up with somebody else. They, they're very polite people. They're not going to sit there and start shit and make a fuss and, do anything, indecent, right? In front of somebody else that isn't part of the family. However, the kid has finally found his voice, and he has basically stood up for himself and said that, I don't want nothing to do with my dad. Just, if I'm here, you haven't seen me, blah, 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 play dumb. I don't care how you do it. Just, he's not. I don't want him anywhere around me. I don't want nothing to do with him. Right? So, there's, the strangities within that whole thing that nobody saw it until I came into the picture. And then when he lost custody, and when the baby mama stood up for me in regard to all of that, that's when they started to really see the true picture. That's when they started to see his true colors. Now, this man's, biological mother is an enabling, she enables, she, does everything she can. She probably introduced this, one that he just fumbled. She probably introduced them, because his mom and I had mutual friends. I have her blocked. But so does this one that he just fumbled. Her and I have mutual friends. It's kind of hard to keep a secret about somebody's true nature when you've got mutual people that know, no, she's not like that. No, she's not aggressive, more fun-loving and, hilarious. That's my nature. I was always like, laugh and giggle and just like to have fun. Yeah, that guy ruined it. But anyway, while I was having that withdrawal, I got this image in my head that he was messing around on me. And, intuition is intuition. And I was trying to distract the pain, and I drew the face of who it was that I could think. It kept flashing in my head, this image of this. I had this dream, an image of this girl. And I drew it out, and his eyes got real big when I said, yeah, I had this really horrible dream. After of course I went back, right? It was one of the rebounds, went back. Showed him the picture. I said, yeah, this is the face of the person when I had that dream that I had in my head when I woke up. So I close my eyes, and I kind of get characteristic, and I draw it out, right? Yeah, if I put I put that drawing, if I could find it, I don't know what I did with it, but I remember what it looked like. And if I put that drawing next to the girl he just fumbled, yeah, uncanny resemblance. I can't prove it because I can't find this shit. But anyway, yeah, that was kind of spooky. It's some spooky shit. So yeah, if a woman, she guessing, unless she's like totally deranged and, you know, just, there are some out there. I'm not saying that women ain't crazy, because yeah, a lot of times we're crazy because the men make us that way. But then again, you have some that are just naturally crazy, and men didn't make them that way. They just twisted up there. But men are the same way. There's some men that are just overly jealous because some woman made them that way. And then you got other ones that are just, they're kookadoo. Anyway. I'm going to get to sewing on this. Break time over. But yeah, there's a lot of different angles that a person with narcissistic personality disorder or multiple cluster B issues, because this guy was a cluster B milkshake. Yeah. No shit. And when you learn them, and you learn the characteristics, and you can apply whatever is in that DSM-5 to various conversations, various situations, behaviors, stuff that's said, how he reacted to things, how he responds to things, you know, how they, she, whoever responds to things. And you start to, and then see how they treat you after. You know, is it good? Is it bad? Is it indifferent? Is it, you know, you're like, what has gotten up your butt? You know, you just get home from work. Yeah, you had a bad day. You say, hey, I had a bad fucking day. I need, you know, he couldn't express it. I had the worst fucking day ever. And I just need like 4 beers and to go like chop down a tree because I'm so angry about how my day went. And you could be like, okay, go have fun. Peace. And go find something else to do. No. He'd put you in the thick of it and then make you his personal emotional punching bag. As opposed to, you know, admitting, hey, yeah, I'm in a mood because this happened. And then talk about it. Nope. And so, I mean, there's aspects to the cluster B. You got that avoidant relationship style or avoidant personality disorder. You're like trying to dissect them. So yeah, I had seen another, what was her? I can't remember. She's really good. Where she talks about there are people with these personality disorders that are like undocumented, but they have these mannerisms in which they need the fight in order to have the makeup, in order to keep the dopamine and the serotonin in check. I think he has one of those aspects too. So he needed to cause the trauma to have the makeup to make him feel better. Because he get bored. He'd either get bored or disinterested. Or see something else that struck his fancy and then became indecisive, so he'd be abusive, try to chase you away. That, you know, so he didn't have to do the breakup, but you disappear so he could entertain that without having the courage to outright say, no, I'm not interested in this anymore. I'm just not. I thought it was, but it's just not. It's not going to work. We have this much, you know, these factors, right? No mature conversation. Just psychotic rage, spontaneous combustive behavior, or just outright cold, calculated, black eye, stern. I just need you to leave and not come back. And for no fucking reason. There was no fight. Just, yeah, out of nowhere kind of bullshit. Throws you for a loop. You know, that kind of crap. Yeah, he was a weirdo. He's still a weirdo. But yeah, if you've ever had to deal with something like that, or you come across any of these weird, strange, inability to communicate, inability to stay calm and rational, or laugh off mistakes or petty shit. If you get something like that, you need to be on your guard. Don't get emotionally invested with their pity pot because they're looking for the sympathy. If you can look at the sympathy as a weakness and emasculate it, it helps to put yourself into a perspective of that. Yeah, he's a whiny little bitch. And yeah, I want somebody who's stronger than that, who I don't feel protected because he can't even handle his own emotional issues. Hope that helps. Kind of put it all perspective. I'm going to get to quilting. But I'm almost done. Yeah, this will be done. It'll be done plenty of time. I'll have time to go take a shower, go get dressed up enough, go get and run my errands. But yeah, it's taken 2 years for me to get clarity in explaining things and putting everything, all the little fucking pieces together. I mean, it's like I knew what happened. I just couldn't explain it well. I would just rant on about all the crazy stuff he did. I didn't have any kind of vocabulary to, help it out. So, hope this helps. So, peace.